All right, class, as we continue working with our exponents, we want to briefly illustrate the power-to-power property. And so what we mean by that is if we were to take this expression, a to the m, and you'll notice that it's inside the parentheses, and we're going to raise all of this to the nth power. Well, when I do this, I multiply the powers. So in this case, if I wanted to rewrite that, it would be a to the m times n. It's a very simple procedure. You just have to put it to memory. Let's look at some examples here. I'm taking 2 cubed and I'm going to raise it to the second power. So if I apply my rule, that's going to be 2 to the 3 times 2, which is 2 to the 6th power. All right, now before we take this one more step, let's come over here and let's think about it. What's 2 cubed? Well, that's 8. What's 8 squared? Well, that's 64. What's 2 to the 6th? Well, it is also 64. We know that 2 to the 5th is 32. Just multiply it times 2 one more time, and you get 64. And so this seems pretty simple, but you really need to be able to apply this rule because as we look at some of our next examples, it's not always as cut and dry as 2 cubed raised to the second power. Let's go to our next example, 2x cubed raised to the second power. Now, I've intentionally added another element to inside this expression. Now, we know, just for illustrative purposes, I'm going to put a 1 there, and we know that that 2 is raised to the first power. What I have to do with this 2 is not only multiply it times the 3 of the x cubed, but also the 1 of the 2. And so this is going to be 2 to the 1 times 2 power, and x 3 times 2. And so that's going to be 2 to the second times x to the 6th. Now we would simplify that a little further. 2 squared is 4, so my answer would be 4x to the 6th. So again, we multiply the outside exponent by every exponent on the inside. That's the power-to-power property. So let's do it again in our bottom example. We've got 3. We're going to multiply 3 times 3. Then we're going to multiply 3 times 2. And we're going to go ahead and show that 1 there just to help us out. And that's going to be 3 times 1. So if we were to rewrite this, it would be 3 to the 3rd power times x to the 6th power times y to the 9th power. And I can simplify that. 3 cubed is 27. 27x to the 6th, y to the 9th. That's the power-to-power properties. Now remember, I'm taking whatever's on the outside and I'm going to multiply it times every exponent of every element inside the parentheses. Not just one of the elements, not just 2 of the elements, but all 3. Or there could be 4 or 5 or 6 or 10 or 15. Okay? Hopefully in pre-algebra we won't hit any that big, but we just apply the same rule over and over and over again. That is the power of power or power-to-power property.